Hello and welcome to Shanmugam IAS Academy. This is Ashwin. Let us take up the current events of the day. So the topics for today's discussions are ceasefire between India and Pakistan, Education Ministry circular on online conferences, new social media code, new education policies approach to effective education for children. Let us take up the first one, that is ceasefire between India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan having much more conflicts in the line of control. We have to know here what is line of control and line of actual control. Line of control is the place or the boundary between India and Pakistan in which we are having more number of problems. In line of actual control, we are having conflicts between India and China, so that we are having various names for the borders between the countries of India and China. Recently, India and Pakistan agreed to strict observance, which means they are going to do some ceasefire. Ceasefire means they are not going to do any kind of conflicts. They are not going to do fights. They are going to come into a mutual commitment. That is what strict observance, which has been introduced by our Director Generals of Military Operations of India also and Pakistan also. They are going to implement a security community, which means security community means in the place of line of actual control, both countries will not be taking any violence. They are going to come into ceasefire and they will not be following the rules and regulations they observe. Why this agreement is important? Ceasefire across the line of actual control have increased because the conflicts have increased between India and Pakistan. We all know that why this conflict has increased, because of Article 370. We all know that. So it causes some collateral damage to the people lives on the line of actual control. Jammu and Kashmir people are living over there, and this place includes the line of actual control. So if some kind of violations or violence are taken place, which will be first affected the vulnerable people or the sections living in the line of control. So they are going to do this commitment to the letter and spirit, and it will be given to both the governments, through which they will not be doing any kind of fights and conflicts, solving the conflicts. Now there is a hope that this move will be the first step towards a gradual normalization of diplomatic relations. Our relations deteriorated since the abrogation of Article 370 in August 2019. We all know that. So what are the positive signals? It will be encouraging the neighborhood first policy of India. India is having much relationship between Bhutan, Nepal, and Bangladesh, Afghanistan. We are having dams and other things and stadiums also in Afghanistan. So we are helping our neighborhood. So that is what neighborhood first policy. Neighborhood in the sense, very most countries next to our boundaries of India. There is a possibility of signing comprehensive economic cooperation agreement with Bangladesh. So yes, it can happen. If bilateral relations improve, we would witness a SAARC summit in Islamabad, which is the capital city of Pakistan, in which India will be also participating, because India is also a member of SAARC, South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation. What are the challenges? Security commitments are not yet happened between India and Pakistan. So we have to notice and we have to see that does this Pakistan will avoid the conflict or any interference between Jammu and Kashmir. It will be the test of Pakistan's strategic commitment to rebuilding the bilateral relations. Next, we will be taking the Education Ministry circular on online conferences. So online conferences has been increased throughout this year across the countries and across the world. As per this circular, these institutions and universities need prior official approval from External Affairs Ministry for hosting online international conferences and seminars online. If a country, if hosting, if a, oh, sorry for that, if an institution hosting an international conferences or seminars online, it should be comes under the circular which has been given by the Education Ministry. It also prohibits the conference topics related to the security of the states. So if some topics will be taken in the international conferences, which has been very useful during the pandemic situation. So during these international conferences, we should not take the topics on security of the state, border, northeast, Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, because it will be creating some kind of hardships, so that India will be facing much amount of against us, or it will be developing international problems, so that we should not be discussing it online. That is what our external ministry says about. But against of this code, Indian Academy of Sciences protested. So we have to see that on coming current affairs also. What is the importance? We already know that, because it can include much amount of people, because international conferences will be giving a solution by the participation of much amount of researchers and other kind of people who are having much amount of knowledges. New social media code, a much needed one for India. So the online platforms are giving much amount of online contents. They are not having any guidelines to give their contents to the viewers. So new social media code will be giving some guidelines to develop and distribute the videos based on the law of the land of India. So the guidelines for intermediaries and digital media ethics code 2021 says OTT platforms together. OTT means over the top, which means Amazon Prime and any other kind of platforms which gives movies and other kind of videos to the people's view. Enact a code for self-regulation. So they should have self-regulation. This code will be given out by our new social media code. Further, the OTT platforms also have to classify the content. They have to classify the contents based on the age of the viewers. If a person is 18 below, he should not be watching the adult videos. That is how I have to classify. So here they will be having some grievances redressing mechanism. Through this, they will be having in the first tier some officers. They will be appointing some officers who will be giving grievances resolutions, and they will be disposing the problems in a time-bound manner. A self-regulating body headed by a retired judge will be a second tier. We are having a second tier also, in which we are having judge, a retired judge. The central government oversight committee will be the third tier. So recently, Twitter has disobeyed the government rules, so that we have taken this in current affairs. National education policy approach to effective education for children. So we all know that what is national education policy. We have discussed this in our previous current affairs session. So it is very important to have a new education policy. It will be removing the of hurdles faced by the students in India. So here they will be eliminating the difference between the public schools and private school students by having an authority which is known as state standard setting authority in a preschool level education. Here they will be doing language based things and removing those things which are more restrictions to the students. Some students may have studied in Tamil, some students may have studied in English or Hindi medium. So here any kind of language should not be barrier for students to learn in a higher manner. So here they will not be taking the examination results, they will be taking the experimental and activity based things of a student. So here they will be teaching the students through storytelling, art and craft, sports and theatre. So they are going to also change the classroom arrangements. It was a unique one from the beginning of school education. Likewise, girls should sit on this place, and boys should sit on this place. Likewise, commitments were then in the previous days, but now it is going to be totally changed. It should not be like facing the board and watching only the teacher. It will be like grouped manner, or will be a circular manner, so that the participation of student will be much more effective. So the assessment will be like self-assessment. Student will be assessing themselves, and they will be evaluated by their peers. Peer means the friends of friends will be, and friends of students will be correcting their papers. So it will be giving a way forward for full potential and uniqueness of a child. Thank you for watching this, and let us wind up this class with this.